Well, I've always said that I'm a better engineer because I'm a poet, and a better poet because I'm an engineer. And the engineering has manifested itself in poetry in many interesting ways. And I don't want to say engineering per se, but all the curriculum of engineering, including all the math. So math really is a way of teaching you how to think. It's about rigorous logic. It's about finding patterns. It's about finding solutions. It's incredible problem-solving skills. And honestly, when I come to a poem, well, let me backtrack a sentence. I mean, math is in a way an abstract language, right? Or you're dealing in a language that's about abstractions and trying to find a concrete answer. And to me, poetry is the same exact exercise. To be honest, to me, poetry is a math problem, in the ways that it's, you're given the problem is this abstract emotion, okay, pain, love, hate, a memory, a person, a tragedy, an inauguration of a president, and you sort of have to scan and figure out how all those bits of logic fit together to create some kind of response to it, and also how to break the logic, because to understand the logic, the expected. Poetry is not just about what's expected, but rather what's not expected, and to come up with what's not expected, you have to understand the logic of what is expected. But language itself is very left brain at times. The idea of how all these little pieces of information fit together is a poem is like one long equation, and the answer is that last line. And then the way of in terms of structure and in terms of finding organizational principles that develop organically out of each poem, and that's looking for patterns. I'm suddenly writing 8-line stanzas. Well, what does that mean? And when do I break the 8-line stanza? Or even when you're writing in meter, or in certain fixed rhythms, that's mathematical. I mean, when you write it out, it's kind of like counting syllables. It's almost mathematical. Much like music, musicians say that there's so much math in music. So I think it's given me a foundation from which to approach a poem, and it doesn't seem to me like just this blank space, but rather it's a design problem in the same way that there's a river. How are you going to build the bridge? And Campbell McGrath, who was my mentor at FIU, was wonderful in encouraging that. And I remember he always used to say that Richard's poems were like finely tuned machines, that you come in one end and you're spit out the other, and you're like, what happened? You're never sort of lost in my poems, because there's a piece, there's nothing, I try for nothing to be missing in that equation, for all the variables to be there and connect all the dots. And so that I see has been a strength to my writing, or has helped my writing in some ways, or at least the kind of writing I want to do.